Today, let's talk about one of the most bothersome symptoms of perimenopause, which is anxiety and mood changes. I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time, welcome back. If you're coming back, I really appreciate you being here. I have been focusing lately on this channel more on hormonal health in women. But I am a functional medicine doctor, a registered dietitian, a family doctor. So in my functional medicine practice, I do work a lot with hormone health, with the transition with perimenopause, menopause, and then also with gut health. So I have a lot of videos on gut health too. But now we're continuing our series on perimenopause and talking about perimenopause and anxiety. So we're going to focus on the kind of the mood changes that can happen and how you can support that, how you can feel better and not have as much of the anxiety and the mood fluctuations, and some resources for you. So let's dive into that. So why does anxiety happen or get worse in perimenopause? You may have a baseline of anxiety already, or stress levels that are high, cortisol levels that are off. And then you hit the ages of perimenopause, which are typically mid 40s, late 40s, early 50s, but they can start as early, the symptoms can start and the fluctuations can start as early as your late 30s. So you can have a worsening of your baseline of anxiety. And what would that feel like? It could feel like not being able to control your emotions. Sometimes irritation, anger, rage can be part of that. Depression can be mixed in with anxiety, and that can be tricky, so you can feel really, really down, but also anxious, nervous to go out, nervous to drive, nervous to work, keeping you up at night. Those can all be manifestations of anxiety and just not being able to make decisions like you used to, not in a dementia kind of way, but like in a way that the anxiety prevents you from really being able to help yourself as much as you maybe could have before. So you can also have restlessness and difficulty concentrating, irritability, and those can all be related to perimenopause. So what happens in perimenopause, and I've talked about the phases of it before, and I have a whole video devoted to that and lots of information devoted to it. Whenever you start into perimenopause, you can have estrogen dominance, like I was saying. So but whenever you start, your progesterone is dropping gradually and gradually, more and more throughout that perimenopause time frame. So when that progesterone is dropping, you can have a phase of estrogen dominance, either the estrogen staying the same or it's kind of spiking up at times, and then you're feeling like more of the estrogen symptoms. And estrogen isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, that's a female hormone that we need as people born as women, but we can feel worse when it's out of balance. It's a seesaw. You do want a good balance between the two. So you can feel with estrogen dominance very irritable, have trouble sleeping, waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning, not being able to go back to sleep. You can have some of those depression symptoms and worry, and like I said, difficulty concentrating, inability to really make the decisions like you used to be able to make more confidently. So those can all be signs of anxiety. Anxiety can be a lot more severe than that as well. So there's all different levels of anxiety, but we're just talking about how it can get worse during perimenopause. And then your second phase of perimenopause is estrogen declining. So the progesterone is already going down, and then the estrogen declines. And so then you can have more of the hot flashes, more intense night sweats, and more intense irritability, the anxiousness, the sometimes rage, fatigue can get a little bit worse during this phase for sure. And that can impair anxiety or cause anxiety to be worse. So those are all things that can happen in the second phase. So let's talk now about some tools for perimenopausal anxiety. And if you don't want to take notes on this and you want to see it kind of in the written form, I do have a blog on this. We have a very new blog, my colleague and I, called at Perimenopause.help is the site. And we just have a few blogs on there now. We're still working on what the site looks like and everything, but we would love your support. And there's lots of support there for you if you're going through this, if you're going through perimenopause, to help you along the way. So that's the whole point of this, is to help, because perimenopause is not talked about often enough in providers' offices. We're, as women going through it, left with a big question mark and wondering where these symptoms are coming from, where they're going, what we can expect. And it's something we all go through, and it needs to be talked about more. So that's where the blog is for, and these videos are for. So Perimenopause.help. But some tools that I've found helpful for anxiety, number one would be mindfulness. So you have to have a mindfulness tool that you're using. You don't have to, but it would be really helpful for anxiety. So mindfulness is like meditation and relaxation and just being, I mean, those are ways to be more mindful. It's being in the moment, not letting the mind go to these worrisome places where it gets amped up and you're like predicting the future with your worry and your anxiety. So mindfulness helps you stay in the moment, breathe through it, recenter, help that cortisol calm down, help the stress hormones calm down. So that's how mindfulness can help with anxiety symptoms. Now, easier said than done, right? Mindfulness is not easy to achieve necessarily. It can be, but it has to be practiced just like anything else. You don't come out of the womb knowing how to do certain things, and you'd think mindfulness would be inherent. But, you know, we have to practice how to do some certain sports. We have to practice at our job. We have to practice at our hobbies. So mindfulness is something we have to practice at also. So how can we practice? One way that I think is essential, people don't do it enough, and it's really helpful, is deep breathing. So you could practice square breathing. You could practice 4-7-8, where you breathe in for 4, you hold the breath for 7, and you exhale for 8. Or you could use a guided breathing app. So they have them on your smartphones, smartwatches and your smartphones. And you can either just do it that way. I like to use apps that are mindfulness and meditation apps. So a new one that I've been using lately, and that I can offer you a 25% discount to try it out, is Aura, A-U-R-A. They have health coaching or life coaching, recorded. It's not individual. Meditation, sleep meditation, different series that you can go through on mindfulness. It's very affordable, especially with the 25% off. I mean, they have a free version also, but for the premium, I think it's like $59.99, and then you get that 25% off. But I'll put the information in the description. And if I'm wrong, I'll put the price on here. So, but you do get the 25% off. So they have lots of different tools, and they do have a breathing section of it too. And then Calm, I also like. I've used that for years. I still use that as well. And they have breathing on all of their meditations usually, but also just straight up, deep breathing, guided through that. So guided breathing, deep breathing, guided meditation is another great way. And meditation doesn't always have to be sitting still with your eyes closed, mind blank. No, not achievable for a lot of us. There's all different forms of meditation, and meditation experts, dive into this even further than a lot further than what I'm saying. But, all these apps I've mentioned, particularly Aura and Calm, and there's also Insight Timer, Buddhify, and Headspace are some popular ones. Other ones are available too, but these are the ones I've used. They all have short 5-minute guided meditations. They have 10-minute meditations. They have walking meditations. You can go outside in nature, and that's a meditation. You can just focus on a mantra like, I am peace, I am calm, I am releasing the stress. All different mantras, and I'll put some resources in the description also. So this, hands down, is one of the most important ways to help you through anxiety, and anxiety associated with perimenopause. So deep breathing, meditation, mindfulness, all the tools for that. And then there's cognitive behavioral therapy. So this is basically the most common form of therapy where you're talking with a therapist. Luckily now, in today's world, we have a lot of resources for this. We have things like BetterHelp.com, which is online. There's lots of individual therapists that offer online services. You can check out local therapists at psychologytoday.com and look for them in your area. But if you feel like your anxiety is so significant that these mindfulness tools, and you've tried them and those are not enough for you, or you want to just really take an aggressive deep dive approach, then I would recommend doing both, like the mindfulness as well as cognitive behavioral therapy. We can all benefit from cognitive behavioral therapy. So that is one thing that's shown to be really effective with anxiety in general and anxiety related to perimenopause. And in one of my recent videos, I talked about essential oils. So there's lavender, taking it orally or applying it topically can be very helpful for anxiety. I've used Calmade Oral Lavender by Nature's Way and Lavella by Integrative Therapeutics, and I'll put those in the description. Super helpful in the moment for anxiety. Magnesium can be helpful for anxiety, taking that at night. You know that you've taken too much when it turns into diarrhea. So, this stuff as gut doctors talk about. So too much magnesium can lead to that. So you kind of have to find your sweet spot. I like natural calm powder or calm powder. You can start with a small amount and then kind of work your way up. But those are some other tools to help with anxiety too. Working on your sleep. So using a sleep meditation, using a white noise app if the ambient noise is getting in your way. If you need to, checking out some of the supplements that I have in some of my videos for perimenopause, like L-theanine can help you sleep. The magnesium can help you sleep. The lavender can help you sleep. And 5-HTP can sometimes help people sleep. Rhodiola can be beneficial. It can be stimulating for some women. And then magnolia is another one that can be very helpful for cortisol and sleep. So those are some ideas for helping perimenopause and anxiety. If you're struggling with that, check these out. Check out the links in the description. You can get that 25% off the Aura app and try it out. Or, drop some comments. We can all learn from each other in the comments section. And I thank you so much for being here. If you want to check out the blog version of this, it's at Perimenopause.help. And there's some other blogs coming up on there and a few posted on there now. And thanks so much for being here. And I hope to see you next time.